Election set to begin Monday in Donald Trump's hush money trial here in New York.
It's the first ever criminal case against a former president, and finding an impartial jury could be a difficult task.
Fox 5's Sharon Crowley joins us now in studio with a closer look at the jury selection process and how long it's expected to take. Sharon.
Yeah, that's right, Steve and Natasha. Picking a jury will be a challenge in this high-profile case. Lawyers trying to find impartial jurors to judge one of the most famous people in the world. Potential jurors will be asked a number of questions, including if they have ever attended a Trump rally or if their political views might slant their approach to the case.
The first criminal trial of an American president begins next week at the criminal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Prepare for gridlock there, near Trump Tower and points in between. Judge Juan Merchan has said he expects the trial of former President Donald Trump to last about 6 weeks. The only break will be on Wednesdays, when the trial won't be taking place. First, though, the prosecution and defense lawyers will have to choose a jury. Jury selection begins Monday.
You really have to interact with the jurors. It's not bland, flat questioning.
Jeremy Saland is a former Manhattan prosecutor, and he says it will be important for lawyers on both sides to get to know potential jurors before making a choice.
It's really just vetting them and engaging them, speaking to them, getting them to come out of that shell and talk back to you. So that's really going to be important, that type of communication. They want to find jurors that are not going to be overly biased one way or another to say, I'm a fan of Donald Trump or I abhor Donald Trump.
The former president faces 34 felony counts. Prosecutors say he falsified business records to cover up hush money payments made by Michael Cohen on his behalf to Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet about an alleged affair. Former President Trump denies that affair happened. Cohen and Daniels are both expected to take the stand. Trump continues to disparage them on social media. Former President Trump has repeatedly tried and failed to get this case dismissed or at least moved to another venue, one that is less blue politically.
I think Trump can get a fair trial. Whether or not you believe that this case was brought for political reasons, the jury's going to have to decide and hear the evidence on their own.
Well, because of the high-profile nature of this trial, most legal experts that I spoke with expect jury selection to take longer than, of course, a routine case that could last about a week. Former President Trump is expected to be in court every day of the jury selection and the trial. So plan for traffic, guys.
That is for sure. All right, Sharon, thank you.